Hello everyone, welcome to another Wednesday live stream. Today I'm going to be creating a card using the Ornate Leaves die set from Simon. I saw this set and I thought, you know what, it kind of looks like it would make a really cool stained glass effect. And I thought, how can I do that on a card? Have it be a window and also have maybe some acetate, maybe color the acetate, make it actually look like stained glass. So that's what we're going to try. I haven't tried this out. I'm hoping this works. And there's quite a bit of die cutting involved. So I'm only going to be using the maple leaf from the Ornate Leaves die set. I'm going to set the other one aside. And I've got my card base here. Here's my card base. I'm going to be cutting the leaf out of the front of my card. And I'm going to have some acetate right behind it. And so I want to make it look pretty on the inside. So I'm also going to be cutting another piece to go on the inside to like cover up all the guts of the card that I'm putting together. So we're going to do a little die cutting here so that I get it really well. Okay, so I've cut this piece of cardstock to be just a tiny bit smaller than the front of my card. I'm going to put it right on the inside of my card. And I'm just going to use just a little bit of tape to hold it in place on the inside of the card. Then I'm going to come back to the front and I'm going to position my leaf right where I want it. I'm planning to stamp a greeting down below, so I want to make sure I have room for that. And then I'm going to just tape this in place right here, just in a couple little spots. And then I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. So what I'm hoping happens here, it's going to for sure cut out the front of the card. It might not cut out that second piece, but it will have a really good indentation if it doesn't. And then I can kind of like puzzle piece the die back on and then run it through again and I should have a really clean cut. Okay, so it didn't cut out the full thing, kind of like what I suspected, but that's okay. So we'll take this off. I'm sure it did cut out the full. Here we go. It may have not cut all of that. It was so thick, it just completely freaked out. Yeah, I don't think it cut all of that through right there. It didn't. All right, well, let's run this through again. I can just kind of puzzle piece that right there. Okay. Oh yeah, that cut out. No problem. All right, there we go. There's our little leaf, and I can put this aside and save it for later. Now going back to this piece, I'm gonna puzzle piece that right on. All right, so now we're cutting through on this one. No issues on this one. All right, so this is going to be, so here's our card, right? This is going to be on the inside. It's just going to cover up anything that I do there. Okay, I'm gonna put these aside for just a minute. I've got to do a couple other cuts with this same die. I'm planning to have some gold cardstock for the kind of like the design of the die of the leaf. So I'm going to cut it out once with the gold facing up. Okay. Oh, see, that cut out beautifully. I think it was just my cardstock was really, really like, you know, oh my word, that's gorgeous. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it over because I want that same design, but on the inside of the card. So I want the gold on the other side. So I'm going to run this through. Alrighty. So now I have the gold in the other direction. And sadly, it will have like the edges that are kind of standing up a little bit, just because that's how it's cut, but not a huge deal. Okay. So I've got those two leaves. And now we get to do the really fun part, making the stained glass. I have a piece of acetate here. It's what we're going to do all of our coloring on. So I've got my card base here. I'm going to open it up and we're going to be working on the inside of the card. First, we're going to adhere the acetate all around the leaf. Maybe go a little, just filling out that square. And take my acetate and go right on top. Let's see which way is going to be best. Like that works. Got a little bit of glue outside from the acetate, not a huge deal. I'm just wiping it off with my fingertips. And now I'm going to take this gold piece here and I'm going to punch out all the center pieces. And then I'm going to adhere it right on top of the acetate. Like I mentioned earlier, I have not tested this out. So I'm really hoping this works out in my head. I don't see why it wouldn't. So I'm just going with it. I liked the idea of having it be like a stained glass where, okay, yeah, so that's just going to fit in right in there. Of having the stained glass have like you could see through it. So it really was like stained glass. All right, I'm just adding some little dots of glue. I put it down, I'm going to just pounce it, and that gets rid of some of the glue. Alrighty, and then I'm going to get that stem lined up first, and then kind of just puzzle piece that in. Right on top of that acetate. Okay. Okay, so this would make a great shaker card actually, but we're not doing a shaker card today. We're gonna make it stained glass. I'm not too worried. Okay, so now when I turn it over, it looks kind of messy. Let me zoom in. This is why we cut that extra piece of cardstock, so that we can make it look nice once we put it all together. So I'm gonna put a piece of white cardstock down below just so we can kind of see where things are. And now we're going to use Copic markers to color in all the different segments of the leaf. And this is where you have to be kind of like finicky with all of your coloring in the segments, because you have to stay in the lines, right? So that's why we needed to have that gold piece on the other side adhere.
Used to give all I have. I'm used to get nothing back. Wherever I go, it's the same. There's no excuses, no one to blame. Sometimes I can't understand how it can be so hard to stay out of pain. But with you, everything has changed, even though we both stay the same. Would you call me on the midnight train? Would you come over when nothing's right? Would you hold me tight in the rain? Even as we're having a fight. Say to say, this time it is different. Sometimes I can't understand how it can be so hard to stay out of pain. But with you everything has changed, even though we both stay the same. Would you call me on the midnight train? Would you come over when nothing's right?
All right, let's turn this over and see how it looks. Ooh, that's pretty. You can kind of see the light through it. Kind of a fun effect. I like that. Okay. So now to clean up the inside of the card, maybe before we do that, I'll stamp my greeting. And the greeting stamp I'm using today, or the stamp set I should say, is called Healing Hugs. There's this little one down here that says Thinking of You. I thought it'd be the perfect little greeting. Getting that straight. All right. And then I've chosen some dark chocolate ink from Simon for my greeting. Press that down. Oh, perfect. And now we can continue by cleaning up the inside of the card. Isn't that so pretty? I love that. We have the other side of our cardstock that we're just going to put right over the top to hide the cut of the acetate.
Even as we're having a fight, say just say tight in the rain, even as we're having a fight. Say
beautiful. See, so it's nice and clean on the inside. Magical. So here's the card for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this fun outside and inside stained glass effect using acetate and alcohol markers. Thanks so much for joining me today. All of the supplies are listed down below in the video description. And thanks so much for watching. I'll be back on Friday with one more Halloween card before we jump into the holiday card series next week. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys in the next video.